From Up North News, I'm Pat Kreitlow. Let's unpack the news for this June 15th. A typically low volume of weekend COVID-19 testing is reflected in Monday's report on the coronavirus outbreak from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. There were only 2 additional deaths reported in Monday's report, raising the state's total to 694 lives lost. We're about to reach 23,000 total coronavirus cases in Wisconsin. 24% of those are active right now. Around the world, nearly 8 million people have been confirmed with coronavirus infections since the outbreak began, and the U.S. death toll from the outbreak crossed 116,000 today. Well, the other big story of the day comes from the U.S. Supreme Court, where Chief Justice John Roberts and fellow conservative Neil Gorsuch joined progressives in a 6-3 ruling that says LGBTQ employees are protected against job discrimination in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Congressman Mark Buchanan wasted no time in saying the ruling, while a win, is one of only many advancements still needed in a time where he and others in the LGBTQ community do not have an ally in the White House. He and Senator Tammy Baldwin called on Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell to stop sitting on a bill that passed the House just over a year ago to bring full equality to what is currently a patchwork system of laws that can lead to discrimination in a range of areas. Well, equality is at the heart of our next story, a series of stories actually, about racial disparities in Wisconsin. Obviously, a lot has been said about disparities and how police handle calls with African American subjects versus others, but there are inequities in other areas too: education, healthcare, the court system. We'll be doing stories daily this week about some of those areas, and our goal is to help stomp out complacency about systemic racism, showing how it exists and affects our state. You see, for far too long, there's been a sense by many that systemic racism isn't our problem because our lives or communities seem perfectly fine. But a systemic problem, by definition, is something that can touch all of our lives at any time because of our interconnectedness. So just take the coronavirus outbreak as one example. As we've said here in this space quite often, you do not have to currently be sick or even know someone who is sick to realize the condition of our public health will fail if you aren't proactive on things like hand washing, wearing a mask, avoiding large indoor crowds. You can become part of the greater problem through complacency, without wanting to, and frankly, without realizing you've already caused somebody some harm. Well, for far too many of us, our privilege, which is not facing a lifetime of discrimination and not knowing anyone who faces those daily setbacks and fears, that privilege can keep us from seeing the actions we need to take to fix the injustices that stand in the way of others' lives, liberty, health, education, and more. By failing to take action, we become part of the greater problem without wanting to, and without realizing how we've given tacit approval for these institutional injustices and harms to continue. It's our hope that an awareness of Wisconsin's racial disparities is a productive step in making our state more prosperous, equitable, fair, and enjoyable for all. So look for those stories from our reporters and much more over at our website, UpNorthNewsWI.com, and sign up for our twice daily newsletters there as well. From the editor's desk, I'm Pat Kreitlow.